to the NXT Podcast, your home for weekly NXT reviews and insight.
The beautiful part of NXT is that when one dream ends, another dream begins.
Find all of your NXT news, recaps, and analysis right here. So with that being said, we only have one question for you.
Are you ready?
We thought so. Let's get the show started right now.
All right, everyone, this is Memphis Mark coming to you from Mullet Manor. And we're going to do a little review on NXT September 6th, following Worlds Collide. And we're just going to jump on into it, and because they start this match out with pretty much going over a recap of everything that happened. And, you know, it is what it is. It fills the time, but then they go into a Tyler Bate promo, and he's kind of, you know, explaining, hey, you know, sorry, I come up short, but I gave it my best and did what I could. And then Galas has got to come out, and I'm going to start limiting my sound effects because I don't have a professional soundboard yet, and I suck at it. So, but they're cutting the promo. Tyler is, and Galas comes out and pretty much says that he embarrassed him and he couldn't unify the titles. And then, of course, he reminds them that he doesn't see any titles around their waist, so they were unsuccessful, which causes them to come into the ring and remind him that there are three of them and one of him, which leads to him nailing one of them, and then all three jump on him. And for a little while, they beat the crap out of any security that wants to come in. And then, of course, Braun comes out to save the day. And he comes out and gets in there, and everybody runs out, and that sets up our main event. All right, so we go from that to a pretty deadly promo that involves Lash Legend too. But Pretty Deadly is kind of explaining to everybody, it's like, man, we won the NXT titles while we were over in Europe. Then we came to America and we won the big title, the NXT tag team titles. And then we unified the titles. So does that make them USO level, or something like that? But it is a good promo. It sets up for what they're going to do a little later on in the show. And they go from Pretty Deadly and Lash, which they're ticked off, and they're going to run around the show for the rest of the night, pretty much trying to say that we could have done it without DK helping us. But that will go on the rest of the way. And then Cora Jade comes out and tries to get Miko to the final boss into a match, and she kind of lets her know, hey, I got a match already, and it's with Roxanne. Yeah, okay, so a little slighted, a little left at the dance with no dance partner, and they go from that. They go into Toxic Attraction. Of course, they got to go into Toxic Attraction. They have to. I think it's under the contract with the USA Network. Not sure of that one, though. But Toxic Attraction against Doudrop and Nikki, almost a superhero. But Nikki was a little closer to old Nikki in this match. And Doudrop's been killing it. And I like the attitude. I like the way, I like Doudrop here. And when she drops an elbow on your butt, you have been elbow dropped, son. So this match is pretty good. I can't say anything bad about it. Doudrop and Nikki do win. Hey. So that's probably setting something up for some riding a little on down the road there, because maybe it knocks Toxic Attraction out of the number one spots for the number one contender spot for the tag team titles. I do not know how they judge it, because it can change hour to hour, minute to minute, depending on whoever's riding there. And I'm hoping that gets a little more stable now that Triple H is at full rudder and running the ship now. So we'll see about that. We'll see. But after, and this match was good. This match was good. As I said, you know, and go all day about Dewdrop, but the Toxic Attraction has their moments. They kept Nikki away from her pin for a little while from the corner, and occasionally got to do a sneak move on Dewdrop. So it's a good match. I can't say anything bad about it. I really like the way Dewdrop and Nikki look on NXT here. Come back with a vengeance, and I'm loving it. But then we go into a promo, and it seems that it's an Apollo Crews promo, and he's going to write in his journal, but he's in the same spot that Roxanne Perez was, what I was a little jealous that Mullet Manor didn't look like. Same spot, almost identical setup. They must have just told Nikki, all right, you're or Roxanne, I mean, your promo, Sue. Apollo, come on out and do yours. But he's writing in a journal, and maybe, you know, I'm old as dirt, but I don't think I ever wrote. I've got a big brother. I don't think he ever wrote. Don't think I ever knew anyone that wrote in a journal. Now, not that that's bad, or I mean, some people did, I'm sure, but. Not in 901. We didn't have too much of that in the 2 fingers round, 3 fingers down area of Memphis. So anyway, I got a little sidetracked, but the whole thing, the promo that he's doing is he's saying that pretty much Waller tried to blind him. You know, the first time may have been an accident, but definitely the second time wasn't. And he says a couple of nice words, writes them down in a little book, and then turns towards the camera. And when he does that, well, we see the terrible eye. And so he said he tried to blind him, and he's coming for him. So, Mr. Waller, Apollo's coming. So after that, they got JD McDonald, JD and Wes Lee, and Wes has come out and said that he thought JD was a little creepy, and this was a banger match though, man. These two young guys, man, they tore it up. Just when you thought that it was Wes Lee's turn, and then it's JD, and then when you think it's JD's turn, Wes comes back with something. There's springboarding off the ropes. There's headbutts. JD is more of a traditional type guy, to where when he pulls him up off the apron or off the ring mat one time to set him up for a move, Wes jumps up and flips over and almost pins him. And everything's good at that moment. Everything's going great. And then JD hits him with a knee. And that same move that he tried to do just a couple minutes earlier, where he was going to pull him up off the mat and set him up for that move, his finishing move. There was no jumping up. There was a knee to the head. The move was done, and Wes was counted out of this one. But and JD goes on with that goofy look. You know, can't quite put my finger on which cartoon character or anime, or there's some cartoon character, something out there that is like that you know, that resembles him, and I just can't put my finger on it. But all right, we will go from there to let's see here. We got Tony D and Stax doing their promo, and this one was with Pretty Deadly, and they're sitting in the break room, you know, just kind of chilling, eating their scones or whatever, drinking espresso with their wife beaters and talking like, hey, you know, and all that. Excuse me, that got me a little choked up there. But then you have, you know, Pretty Deadly comes over, and Tony's going like, hey, man, how did y'all pull that off? And Pretty Deadly's already ticked off people think that they set up DK, and they're mad because they're going, we didn't do it. And Tony's going, yeah, okay, I got you, wink, wink, and gets them all mad. And, they pretty much, they take their glass of espresso or their cup of espresso. And then when he makes his comments, I think it was Kip, or was it Elton? I don't know. It doesn't matter. But one of them goes to choke a little bit, and they both go, hey, look, we're tired of all this. We would have won anyway. I don't know what you're talking about. And Tony and Stacks are going, yeah, sure, yeah, okay. And they go from there. And then they go to the before mentioned Roxanne Perez and Mako Satomura, the final boss. And they're going into their match. And look, man, Mako is just, she is going to have a good match. She's a veteran. She's been doing this over 20 years, multiple titles and multiple promotions, just a veteran. So she's going to make whoever look good. But Roxanne looked okay in this match. She had a little trouble climbing up the ropes to stand on them at the start of the match, going to the commercial. But actually, during the match, she did pretty good. Because there's probably going to be one other time that I mentioned somebody carrying the match. They set this up really good. The match is back and forth. Everything's good. The final boss ends up, getting the win. Or I'm sorry. I apologize. They turned that around on me. I'm looking at my notes upside down. That shows you how we roll here in the Big 901. As I was saying, this was a good match, and Perez actually surprised me with some of her mat skills. I was a little shocked at some of it because it was good. And, of course, Mako is going to make you look good. I mean, that's just what she does. She has no choice. But when it comes to the finishing move and everything like that, Roxanne gets a counter. You think that Roxanne is going to pull this out. But they eventually end up going to the top ropes. Roxanne gets a very good, I guess that would be called like a shooting star press out of there or whatever it would be. We would call it back in the old days just a backflip off the top rope. But the girls work up a big sweat because this was one of those matches. But yes, I don't know what made me think that Perez won this. And I think it all comes from, I'm not used to them bowing at each other at the end of the match. And the final boss does a bow, and then she pretty much goes, all right, I'm out of here. So she leaves, and that's when Cora Jade slips up into the ring and a whop upside the back. And she's about to do more damage, and then the final boss comes back. So that's how that one ends. And then they do a I'm sorry, yeah, but they do a Tyler and Braun promo, and for some reason Braun is always in the locker room, but they do their promo, and it's a good little promo. Tyler does good mic work and everything, but the jumping around in space in the locker room, I've seen it. You modernize everything else, modernize your calisthenics. So they go from that to DK. DK explains why he did the chair shot heard around Worlds Collide. And he explains it. Hey, look, man, I beat Brutus in college, whooped him. I went to the University of Minnesota. Won the Pan Am, or participated, I believe he said won, but I'm not sure if he won, the Pan Am Games. Accredited amateur background. But then he explains that when he got to the pros, that Roderick, which was kind of leading Diamond Mine, he really pushed the Creed brothers and, hell, even Ivy more than him. And he kind of said that he was going to stir the pot from within and destroy Diamond Mine from the inside. So it's a good little promo. The way they set it up and everything, the camera work, of course, the WWE. Come on. They're going to have all their editing down and everything, but it explains now the Worlds Collide where Roderick was knocked out in the parking lot. Explains the chair shot. Explains a lot of little plot twists that they've had the last few weeks. So we go from there. Ooh, yeah, and that's a good promo. I'm telling you, DK got a good promo. So when you go back and watch this, you'll see what I mean. I was a little surprised on his mic work because it's a lot better than I thought it would be. But they go to Ricochet and Trick. Ricochet and Trick, kind of like a revenge match, because Ricochet is blaming Trick for him not having the North American title for his interference. Now, this match was a barn burner. These guys tore it up. Man, there's nothing I can say about that. There was back and forth. Of course, Ricochet had to carry this match. That's just the way it is. He had to carry this match. Trick's learning. He's not there yet. And, of course, Mello was on commentary. So they, Ricochet makes Trick look good. Trick does hit a couple good moves, and definitely Ricochet sells. But some of his moves, springboarding and the flips and everything, the springboarding off the second rope and all that, it just looks so effortless from him, just so freaking effortless. But he reminds me there again of like the lucha libre style that's Americanized. Is that a word? I don't think it is. But the American version of that. And this was a good match. I cannot say a bad word about it. Ricochet is going to get it at the end while Mello was commentating. And what was kind of funny is Ricochet hits his signature move and kind of looks back towards Mello that's doing the commentary and everything and says he sees him, and then he goes to walk to the top rope and do his springboard, or his flip off the top rope. And Mello's going, okay, we've been practicing this. Watch this, man. Watch this. And I'm watching it because I really did think that they had something up, but nope. He hits it, and he doesn't even do the flip off of him when he hits him for the pin where they acts like it hurt him or nothing, where they roll off. No, he just pinned that man and then put his eyes right back on Mello. And so they have some words, and it goes back and forth. But then we go back with Tony D and Stacks, and they're still in the same table, but now we got Cameron Grimes shows up. So Cameron, of course, they've been trying to recruit him. And they let him, they pretty much asked him, hey, you ready? Because he was just going to walk by, and they stopped him. And he comes back, and they offer him a cup of espresso, and just being neighborly, I guess you would say. And he tells him that he doesn't need them, and after Stacks brings him a cup of coffee or a cup of espresso over, after a few more words, you know what? He throws the espresso on Stacks. And Tony hits him. Stacks comes back now and whoops on him a little bit. And then about the time he knocks Stacks off of him, of course, he turns right into Tony D. And when he turns into Tony D, it ain't that good because he's going to put him straight through the catering table. Luckily, there was no hot coffee on it. But he puts him straight through the table. And that pretty much is the way that went in. They go into a quick little Creed Brothers and Pretty Deadly promo to where Pretty Deadly says we're going to let the WWE Universe decide the stipulation of this match and put that out there. But they go into a match after that with Nathan Frazier and XM. and it's the 2 out of 3 match. They're going to do one each week, and this was the first one. And this is a good match. Good match. Both of these guys can fly, but I'm going to tell you, I love the fact that there's a masked wrestler in NXT. Because, hey, look, if he's a good-looking guy, keep him at his weight right now, fine-tune him, and then get him out of there, get him off air for a few weeks, and then put 10 pounds on him, unveil him out of that mask, and now it looks like you've brought in a wrestler from who knows where. And I really like that. I did, that aspect of it. But this match was a barn burner. I mean, they went back and forth, and both of these guys are good. And Nathan, it doesn't have the greatest mic work, but his in-ring work is good. I mean, I'm not talking about wrestling. His panning and going and bantering with the camera. He does really good like that. I mean, he's a young guy, sporting that hair out there. They give him the good camera time. He has a good little quick comments and stuff like that. So that's good. His in-ring, as far as mat capability, is excellent. And XM was too. And XM won this one. But I love the mask aspect of that. But okay. All righty. It's about time for the main event. Like somebody else says somewhere else. It's going to be Galas and Braun and Tyler Bate. Wait a minute. I am so sorry. They did a quick little promo. You know how they start a match out and then they come back after a commercial and they slide in a quick promo before the match. And this one was for Quincy. Yeah. Quincy on his scooter. Yeah. It was Quincy and a scooter. Okay, let's get back to the match now. But Galas and Braun and Tyler, they put on one hell of a match, man. Tyler, of course, Galas, the Coffee Brothers, they do fantastic. Old school, the Minnesota Wrecking Crew style kind of, stuff, just really good. And Tyler, of course, is Tyler. He puts on one hell of a show. And Braun has moments, and he can put together moments, and he'll have that in a match. But he still doesn't look good when he's on the receiving end, and you can't be all offensive. You got to be able to take the whooping if you're going to give the whooping. So, but this was a good match. The way they ended it, he was about to get hit from behind. Braun spears him from nowhere. Spear. And Tyler ends up winning the match. I mean, it was a good match. I can't say anything bad about it at all. I'm still kind of shaking from that Quincy promo. It's Quincy and a scooter. Okay. And they just had Adrian Street last week on. Never mind. But the match was good. Tyler was good. Braun hits him with a spear. Tyler ends up doing his finishing move, wins, and then you got Pretty Deadly. Of course, has got to jump in. And we have a melee at the end of the show. So, overall, hey, to me, the show, solid C. Can't say anything bad about that. Solid C. I'm not going to say C+, but not a C-. That's the most important thing. And we will go from there. We will go to, let's see here. We got a question that was asked to me. Let's see here. What do we got here? We got, all right. What is the bloodiest match I ever saw? And the bloodiest match I ever saw was against a tag team. It was Phil Hickerson and Dennis Condrey. And I can't remember the exact name of that tag team, what they called themselves, but they were a staple in this area for a while. And they were going to go up against Dundee and Jerry Lawler. Great match, those guys. every bit of 45 to 55 minute matches. When the main event in the Mid-South Coliseum back in the 70s and 80s, you were going to get a 30 to an hour long ending match, your main event, and there was probably going to be 1 or 2 45 minutes matches scattered between there. But Phil Hickerson just busted all over the place. Dundee all over the place. Lawler was a good bleeder. So it was a good bleeding match. I hope that. Who was that from? That was from Cheryl in Atlantic City. All right. So thank you, Cheryl. And I think that is about it this week. I do believe. Let me check here. Hey, it is. Well, it was a Labor Day weekend, and we got a little rest. Everybody's rested up a little bit, so you talk a little faster. Your mind works a little better. Next week, this will be a 50-minute show, and I'll be slurring my words. I don't know. But anyway, guys, we are going to try to put an end on this. And I want to remind everyone out there to spay and neuter. Spay and neuter. I say that jokingly a lot, but rescue if you can, but spay and neuter cats, dogs. The population is the shelters and everything are just overpopulated, everything. So do your part if you are a responsible pet owner. And if you're a true wrestling fan, then you're a responsible pet owner. But anyway, guys, we're going to get on out of here. Don't think we got anything left. Right? Yes? Okay. All right, so we are done, folks. And you know what that means? This is Memphis Mark. And you know what? I'm out.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.